pub in the UK, in the Saloon Bar, where Sister Susie is waiting with her drinks trolley, I think. There it comes.
Oh, there it is.
What are you picking for us today, Sister Susie?
Well, I thought we could try a Tom Collins today, which is, if you like a gin and tonic but fancy a different take on it, then it's a gin, lemon juice, sugar syrup and soda water instead of tonic, served in a very tall glass.
OK, well, we'll have
Delicious.
a few of those. I might just stick to fizzy water for the moment, but a Tom Collins for us later. Matt looks very unimpressed, by the way, so which is no change there.
No change at all.
Today's confession comes from Carrie, Simon and the team. So, from Carrie, full stop. Simon and the team, new paragraph. I'd like to share a confession. By the way, there's a lot of bad behaviour in this confession, as there tends to be, but, just a warning.
So don't do it at home.
I'd like to share a confession with you and ask for forgiveness. It's a secret I've been hiding since 1975 and need to cleanse my soul. As an adult with children of my own, as well as working in a local college, I need to present myself as a pillar of society and not have this stain forever being a burden on my shoulders. Not sure a stain can be a burden on the shoulders, but, I get what you're talking about. I'm seeking forgiveness from my dad and sister for an incident back in the autumn term of 1975. I was in secondary school. Before I begin my tale, I'd like to say this. In hindsight, it was a really bad idea and one not to be repeated under any circumstances.
Okay.
And you'll notice as we get to some crucial bits, I have changed some crucial information.
This is really building it up. I'm looking forward to this.
Chemistry.
Oh, that's why. Chemistry, right?
Wasn't a subject I was particularly enjoying, but our teacher showed us how to mix chemicals and make flares. Not flares as in trousers, but the flares that shoot into the air.
Yeah. Okay.
To be fair, he made the flares in the fume cupboard, as you would, but my ears pricked up and my eyes were delighted by the sounds made and the bright colours. Even better when he said the chemicals could be bought from any local chemists.
Wow.
Now, please be aware, says Carrie, this is no longer possible. But I'm talking about those oh-so-innocent days 47 years ago when life was so much simpler and you could buy dangerous stuff from the chemist. Fast forward to Saturday morning and I visit my local chemist, sweaty palms clutching a handful of coins, my pocket money. My voice cracked nervously as I managed to stammer out, "A bottle of what we are calling secret crystals, please." And a box of what we're calling and the other stuff as well. The chemist frowned at me. I held out my shaking hand to show him my coins. "Ah," he said, "you're going to dye paper?" He's from
What? Is it a Bond movie?
I don't know.
Mr. Bond.
You're going to dye paper. As in dye, D-Y-E, obviously.
Of course.
Yes, I responded, eagerly clutching onto the realization that I might be just about getting what I needed. And I did, stashing my purchases under my bed. I could hardly sleep with excitement that night. The thought of making my own flares was thrilling. I would say this next paragraph contains more bad ideas than any other paragraph ever. Sunday morning came, says, what are we calling her?
Carrie.
Carrie, that's right.
Yeah.
Sunday morning came and it was chilly. I let myself into Dad's shed. Recalling what I needed, I borrowed what we're calling a vital fluid from my mum's baking kit, which, according to Mr. person who told me about chemistry, flowed slowly and blended the dry chemicals. I couldn't find a suitable container, but Mum had spare jars for her jam making, so I snaffled one of those. Then, incredibly, I also thought it would be a good idea to see how far the sparks on the flare flew through the air, so I removed the ball bearings from my sister's bike and added them to the dry mixture.
Okay, no, that's a bad idea.
Placing everything on the floor of the shed, I put the dry ingredients in the jar, then added the fluid. The chemicals started to fizz. At that point, I panicked and legged it out of the shed, slammed the door, and hid behind the dustbin. A few minutes later, there was a loud crack sound and smoke billowed around the edges of the shed door. I left it for about half an hour before opening the door and checked out what had happened. Embedded in the wooden shed walls were bits of glass, a darkened spot on the shed floor where the ball bearings had gone. I had no idea. They were nowhere to be seen. I picked out the glass and wrapped everything in newspaper before disposing of the evidence in the dustbin. Back inside the house for what remained of the weekend, I waited to be found out, but nothing was said. The days and weeks passed and still nothing. Result: no one knew. It wasn't something I'd repeat once I realized the possible consequences of my actions, and the incident was soon forgotten as I had more important things on my mind, like boys. new tank tops, and whether I could get away with platform shoes at school. Spring came and my sister decided to use her bike, but for some reason it wasn't working. Wandering back home from school one summer afternoon, bags swinging and not a care in the world, as I got to the garden, the scent of wood smoke was strong in the air. Opening the door to the kitchen, Mum was there preparing dinner. "Get changed," she said. "You can then take a beer out to your dad in the garden. He's not in the best of moods." Out I went, glass in hand, to find my dad standing next to a bonfire that looked suspiciously like the remains of the shed. Handing him his glass, I said, "So, what's up?" "I went to get the mower from the shed," said my dad, taking a long swig of beer, "and the sun was streaming through little holes in the walls." My heart sank as the realization of what this might mean for me. I stalled for time. "Oh, yes," I replied, trying desperately not to sound or look too guilty. "Yeah," he replied, "woodworm. I had to pull it all down and burn it. 45 quid it cost me to buy a new shed. 45 blooming quid! Can you believe it? Price of sheds today." 45 quid, I said. I let my head drop and shook it slowly from side to side in commiseration, but the reality was I was trying to hide the smile and relief because I'd got away with it. I've made up for the 45 quid several times over, as when myself and my husband visit him for our Friday night game of dominoes, I take him a bottle of his favourite tipple, but every now and again he mentions the shed and how much it cost him. 45 quid! He still has the shed today, painted dozens of times over, and not a woodworm hole to be seen. If you could find it in your hearts to forgive a rather wayward teenager who's tried to follow a better path as a responsible adult, it would be a huge relief. Or am I doomed to damnation for all eternity? Says Carrie, slightly over-egging the pudding at the end.
She did, yeah.
Sister Susie, obviously the voice of responsibility.
Well, Carrie, you should never do anything like this without consulting. And I know you're going to say I'm really boring here, but without consulting a responsible adult. You know, you can have fun with chemistry, but you can't do it on your own. Also, in a confined space like a shed.
Lunacy.
Oh, absolutely ridiculous. So I can't forgive you, I'm afraid. Totally irresponsible.
Brother from another gutter.
I mean, is it just me? I mean, the experiments, isn't this what experimentation is all about? Is doing stuff and sometimes it goes wrong. I think that's probably it's what made this country great, is being able to sometimes experiment and then realise it was a massive mistake and not do it again. Also, do ball bearings look like woodworm? No, they don't. So really, Dad should have worked that out. It's Dad's fault for not realising that woodworm don't look like ball bearings, and also he's now maintaining the shed even better than before. So everyone wins. So definitely forgive